Today we're going to work on Lesson 2, Day 5, Activity C. So if you could turn to page 18 in your book, we're going to look through some words and we're going to try to complete some sentences. So determining meanings is our goal today. Circle the letter next to each answer choice that correctly completes the sentence. There may be more than one correct answer. So if we look at number 1, it says a grimace. Well, I have to remember what a grimace means. So if I don't remember, I need to turn back the page and look at the definitions again. I remember that a grimace is kind of an expression, usually out of pain or frustration or not very happy. So let's see which sentences make sense. A grimace told me that Taj didn't like the idea of going to the party. Well, that makes sense. It shows me his interest or lack of interest. So I'm going to circle A. A grimace on the principal's face made him look unfriendly. Well, that makes sense because now we kind of get an idea about who the principal is based on his expressions. So I'm going to circle B. A grimace in the ice was narrowly avoided by the skaters. Well, ice doesn't make a face, so that doesn't make sense. A grimace in the calculations was quickly corrected. Well, calculations can't make faces either, so that doesn't make sense. So I'm going to circle A and B. All right, let's look at gruesome. A gruesome attempt was made to save the library, but it proved unsuccessful. Now, that doesn't really fit because we know something that's gruesome is kind of gory or horror filled. So, saving the library wouldn't be that. So, that's wrong. A gruesome story about the history of surgery was published last month. Well, that might work because, if they showed us all the details in the book of surgery pictures, that could be gruesome. So, we're going to circle B. A gruesome mix of hay and oats provided food for the horses. Well, food doesn't seem to be gruesome, not that kind of food. And then D, a gruesome sea monster attacked the ship in the movie. Well, describing how ugly or scary they made him, that could work. So we're going to circle D. So in this case, we were going to circle B and D for 2. All right, let's try number 3. An inventory. Well, we know an inventory is a list or a collection of the resources that a business has or a library might have or something else. So an inventory of items needed for summer camp was given to the campers' parents. That kind of makes sense, right? A list of things they need. So let's circle A. An inventory that changed history was the steam engine. Well, that doesn't make sense because that's just a story. So no to B. An inventory of the clothes in my suitcase revealed I'd forgotten socks. Sure, you're kind of taking account of what you have and what you're missing. That's an inventory. So I'm going to circle C. An inventory should be set out to dry regularly. Well, we're not really going to dry out a list. So in this case, we're going to circle A and C. For the remaining class time, you're going to work through the remaining questions and see how you and your partner can do, and your teacher will go over the correct answers.